Hello everyone. I've done this in a while, but I've been busy with life. I haven't been able to make a video for 2 months. A lot of things going on, but now I'm here to make a video for everyone to enjoy. So, before I make the video and start the story, I'd just like to credit the person who gave me this idea. Comment section of one of my community tab posts. This guy, the Black Otaku, he recommended this idea to me, and I'll link his account in the description. Credit to him. So, in this story, how it's going to work, as the title is very peculiar, with Ash being Silver's son, is that in this timeline, when Ash was born, it was with Silver, who was born years earlier, and Giovanni being a few decades older. And with Giovanni being born, having Silver would turn out to be a very troubled kid growing up. And when he eventually realized the person his father was, he would grow to hate and truly despise him as a person. And eventually, he would begin trying to help characters like Gold, Ethan, and others who shall be revealed later take down Team Rocket in whatever ways he could, as he essentially used all of the info from behind the scenes, being Giovanni's son, and took him down from the inside in a way. And after Giovanni was supposedly taken down, according to Silver's sources, his last known whereabouts were in Johto, so he decided to go start a new life, temporarily in Kanto, and have a family there. He decided to raise his son in Kanto, but Silver needed a job opportunity, so for his job, he decided that he needed to work in the gym leader business. And there were two gyms in both Johto and Kanto that weren't very available. In the Viridian City gym and the Mahogany Town gym, as Price had recently retired as he was growing old. So Silver had to do something about it, as he didn't want anything to do with his father Giovanni or by working at Viridian City gym. But Silver specifically never ever told Ash about Team Rocket, about the things they did, so Ash didn't know about his grandfather or anything that happened with Team Rocket. So he was just completely blind and naive about it. He had no information. So Silver would decide to set up a whole new life in Kanto, where he would meet Delia and have a child with her being Ash, and they would live for a few years as a whole family until Silver knew that it was time for his gym leader duties to fully take over. So he had to go and move to Johto, where he would begin working as a gym leader and would serve as the final challenge for Johto trainers, as Silver at his peak performance was far stronger than Claire. So this is where Ash comes in, as a young man who doesn't know about his father's past, just sees him as his father and the gym leader of Mahogany Town. It's time to tell his story. So, in this timeline, Delia would make sure that Ash wakes up on time, as Silver would have a gift for his son, as he wanted to help his son become a more powerful trainer in the most fair way he could, as he didn't want Ash to be a spoiled brat, but wanted him to have at least a decent start of Pokemon. So Delia would give Ash a gift that she had gotten from her husband. Ash would receive the gift and would open it, and inside the gift would be a Pokeball. Ash would send out the Pokeball, which would be a shiny Totodile. Totodile would immediately like Ash, would jump towards his face to hug him. As Totodile would jump down, as Ash would immediately like the creature and would compliment it, saying it looks strong and he can't wait to go on journeys with it, enjoy travels with it. As he would put the Pokeball somewhere in his pockets as he would decide to make his way out of his mother's house along with Totodile. As he would make his way into Oak's lab in order to collect Pokeballs and a Pokedex as he'd already got on his tar. When he walked in, he would see Gary being handed his Squirtle, Pokeballs and Pokedex, as we were told in the original anime that Squirtle was reserved for Gary, so he would be able to easily just get it whenever he wanted. And Gary, even though it was reserved for him, got up in time and got the Squirtle for himself. And in the original timeline, some people might argue that he was maybe a bit late, or maybe came just before Ash. I personally believe that he just wanted to wait there to taunt Ash from whatever star he got, but to focus on the story. Gary would be receiving his Pokemon and the items he needed to be a trainer. He would then turn around and notice that Ash was there. I would see that Ash had a shiny Totodile. I would say that Ash's dad had spoiled his son by getting him a whole new rare shiny Pokemon that no one else had, and that his dad spoon feeding him. As then, Professor Oak would tell Gary that he should stop arguing with Ash and that he should just leave him alone, as Ash also needs his Pokeball Pokedex. As Professor Oak would say that Ash had a Totodile that was shiny, as he would say that it was a Johto starter, and it's very rare for these to be in Kanto, let alone being shiny. So it's very incredible that he has this Pokemon, and that he would like to take the opportunity to study Totodile at some point and investigate it, as he's currently trying to investigate how shiny Pokemon even exist. I'd like to understand that. But Totodile would not like the prospect of being studied like some sort of lab project, so it would blast a water gun right in the face of Professor Oak. As Ash would chuckle at this prospect, thinking that he likes this Pokemon's kind of mentality. It's not going to just be used as a lab project for someone. As Totodile would be a bit dizzy after exerting all of that energy in the water gun, but it would eventually stop being dizzy. As eventually after a while, Oak would give Ash his Pokedex and Pokeballs after he dried himself, as Ash would get the Pokedex and Pokeballs, as Totodile and Ash would decide that they wanted to leave, but Gary would then say, "Ashy boy, turn around, I want to battle you." As Ash would say that he doesn't want to waste his time battling when he can start his journey, but Gary would say that is he too scared, knowing that he's gonna get absolutely curb stomped, as this would light a fire under Ash and Totodile, as they would immediately want to battle. So it'd be Squirtle versus Totodile. Totodile would start with a bite, which would bite into the skin of Squirtle. Squirtle would be knocked back, as then Squirtle would then go for a rapid spin, which would knock back Totodile. As Totodile would then barrage Squirtle with bowl beams, which would slow down Squirtle. The Squirtle would then be hit by a bite, which would instantly knock it out. Ash would return his Pokemon as it was a bit tired, and Gary would be angry, saying that Ash has an unfair advantage as he has a rare Pokemon that was probably specially bred by his father's strongest Pokemon, so he has an unfair advantage, that Ash is cheating. But Ash would say that that's just the luck of the match, and that just because he's the better trainer, Gary should be complaining. As Gary would still be angry and would insist that it wasn't fair, and that next time he was going to absolutely dominate Ash in the battle, as he's not gonna let himself be beaten once again by Ash, a guy who's cheating and using all the advantages that his powerful dad has. This guy would leave, as Oak would then wish Ash good luck on his journey, as Ash would then leave with Totodile. Ash would then make his way into Route 1, where he would encounter a Sandshrew. Sandshrew would be territorial and aggressive and would land a few scratches on Totodile, but Totodile wouldn't take too much damage, land a water gun, which Sandshrew would surprisingly endure very well. As would then go for a dig, as would then, on the next turn, hit Totodile with a dig for a lot of damage, as then Totodile would respond with a bubble beam, which would leave Sandshrew near incapacitation, as Ash would then throw a Pokeball which would catch Sandshrew. As then, he would make his way into Viridian City. As in Viridian City, there would be the infamous Viridian City Gym. But Ash, not being briefed on the situation, as Silver found it very uncomfortable to speak about his past with Team Rocket and Giovanni, as he absolutely despised how his dad was never there for him, and how he was prioritized his business over him, and how he couldn't wait to see the end of Giovanni. Even though he was happy that Giovanni was finished, he found it very uncomfortable to speak about the subject, especially with his son. So Ash, like I said earlier, would be completely blind. So when he walked into the gym, he would heal his Pokemon and would then go to visit Viridian City Gym, a place that he knew had been shut down, but he was curious about it and wanted to learn more. As he would look at the sign saying closed permanently, thinking that wow, I wonder what happened there. As he would think that maybe something illegal happened, or it wasn't fit for like the guidelines of the Pokemon Association. Then, a man who was dressed in a suit and had a beard that looked fake, but since Ash was 10 years old, he was able to tell that the beard is clearly fake, would then walk towards Ash, as he would then say, "Oh, young man, what is your business in such a place like this?" As Ash would say, "Oh, I'm just curious about what's going on with this gym and why it's closed." As the old man would then say, "Oh, young lads, that is a very, very long story, where a poor man was betrayed by people who fought close to him and people who hated him, and he got dragged down and was forced to run away and hide somewhere with barely anyone behind him. He was all alone in the world, trying to run away, going from place to place. That is the story of this gym. And now the man, he is lost forever. We shall never know where he is." Ash would be very concerned at this. I would think whoever shut down this gym and betrayed the man were very cruel people. As Ash would then ask for more details, as man would say, "Oh, young lad, that is not something that a young man such as yourself should worry his mind with. Do not worry about the true details of that situation." As the man would then notice that Ash had an old Pokedex, some would say, "Oh, young man, that is a very outdated Pokedex. That Pokedex would not be able to tell majority of the current Pokemon that are now in this world. It's an old, outdated Kanto Pokedex, only for Kanto Pokemon. Young man, I dare that you try that Pokedex on that starter Pokemon of yours. I should try the Pokedex. I won't be able to identify what Totodile was." As he would then turn around and would say all he could do about this, as there are obviously Pokemon out there that don't originate from the Kanto region, and he needs to be able to know what they are. As the man who was clearly Giovanni in a suit and a fake beard would then say, "Oh, young man, I have a solution for this." As then he would send out his Swampert that was encased in an Ultra Ball. As he would say, "You see this Pokemon Swampert, young man? Try use your Pokedex to tell it, to identify it." As Ash would then ask, "Is this your solution?" To prove my Pokedex would be useless once again. As the old man would then say, "Young man, trust me." As Ash would then try again, and the Pokedex would be puzzled on what Pokemon this was. As Giovanni would then say, "This is Swampert, a fully evolved starter Pokemon from Hoenn. This Pokemon can only be identified by the national Dex, or Dexes that are from the Hoenn region onwards. So, young man, I think I have something that can fix your Pokedex or upgrade it." As he would ask Ash to give him the Pokedex, which Ash would oblige. As Giovanni would return his Swampert, as he would then pull out some pieces of hardware that he would put into the Pokedex. As then he would hand Ash back his Pokedex and say, "Now try identify your Totodile. And if this works, you should even be able to identify my Swampert, as these are certain pieces of hardware that help national detectives be able to tell every kind of Pokemon currently discovered." As Ash would then turn around, as he would then use the Pokedex, and it would glow and would tell the most recent Pokedex entry of Totodile. Ash would be very elated and would thank Giovanni for this, as he would put the Pokedex back in his bag, as he would then walk away. As Ash obviously wouldn't know who this man was, so he would think a really nice old man helped him out. But little did Ash know, those pieces of hardware that were put in the Pokedex were not as benevolent as he thought, as the old man, being Giovanni, had malicious intent. As those pieces of hardware's function shall be revealed in the later parts of this story. As Ash would then venture into Viridian Forest, as he was trying to make his way to the city where he can earn his actual first gym badge. As Ash would then meet Samurai, who was in the forest, Samurai would say that he challenged multiple Kanto trainers, and that they'd all beaten him, and that he especially wants to challenge Ash, who is also from Kanto, as Ash is a Kanto trainer who now has a very rare Totodile. As Ash would decide to return Totodile and not use it, as he would then use Sandshrew. Then Samurai would then switch in his Metapod. As while the battle began, Ash would think why the old man was just so randomly kind to him for no reason. Was it like the old man recognized him as someone he knew? Little did Ash know that Giovanni knew exactly who Ash was, as he had been keeping tabs on him for years, and he recognized him, even by the red hair, as the son of his son, as he looked almost exactly like Silver with that scarlet hair. As Ash would then decide that he needs to focus on the battle, as he would then put his Pokeball away, as Sandshrew would then use multiple scratches on Metapod. Then Metapod would take some damage, but would then respond with a Harden to increase its defense. As Sandshrew would then go for a Mud Slap, which would hit Metapod and would lower its accuracy after doing a bit of damage. As then Metapod would go for Harden once again, not knowing any other move, which would also raise its defense, as Sandshrew would then barrage with multiple scratches. as eventually Metapod would be fainted, as its defense wouldn't be able to last the constant attacks from Sandshrew forever. As then, Samurai would then send out Pinsir, his strongest Pokemon, as Ash would then go in for a scratch with his Sandshrew. But Sandshrew, from scratching Metapod numerous times, there would have been scars on its claws, so it would be too painful for Sandshrew to use its claws in any capacity. So then, Pinsir would then envelop Sandshrew within its pincers and crush it, as this would knock out Sandshrew. As Ash would then immediately send out his ace Pokemon being Totodile, which would blast back Pinsir for a decent chunk of damage, as Pinsir would then go for a Brick Break against the opposition being Totodile, as Totodile would counter this move with a bite, as both moves would clash and collide. As then, during this collision, Totodile would then barrage its enemy with multiple bubbles using its Bubble Beam move, which would easily knock out Pinsir, as Pinsir had taken some damage from the bite by Totodile. As Ash would then return Totodile his ace Pokemon and put the Pokeball in his Pokeball belt, which he had also received from Professor Oak. As Samurai would then go and talk to Ash and say that he really is a powerful trainer and that he looks forward to seeing him in the Pokemon League, as now Ash is giving him whole new motivation to go get stronger and fight against other strong trainers in the Pokemon League. Samurai would then walk away, determined to get stronger, as Ash would then encounter a Hoppip. Ash would then use the Pokedex to identify what Pokemon this was, being a Hoppip, a Johto Pokemon, as he would then use Totodile. Totodile would then use a bite to flinch Hoppip, and Hoppip wouldn't be especially strong, so this would be enough to do the job. Almost, as Hoppip would then show some signs of movement, as it would slowly begin to get back up, but before it could do a lot of damage towards Totodile, as it had the type advantage, Totodile would barrage with multiple Bubble Beams. As then the job was done, as Ash would then throw the Pokeball, which would encapsulate Hoppip. As Hoppip would then try and escape the Pokeball, his Pokeball would shake, and then after shaking 3 times, Hoppip would be caught. As Ash would then return his Totodile and pick up the Pokeball. As Ash would then venture on into Pewter City. Ash would be excited for his first gym battle, but nervous, as after a quick trip to the Pokemon Center, he would then make his way into Pewter City Gym, where he would then battle Brock. Brock would say that Ash looked pretty strong, and that all of the trainers that he's had from Pallet Town have given him quite a decent challenge, and that he hopes that Ash can also give him a challenge. So then be Hoppip versus Geodude. Hoppip would then land numerous bullet seeds on the opposition being Geodude. This would do a lot of damage to Geodude, as then he would stand back up and land a Rock Throw, which would do super effective damage, as Hoppip was also part flying type. This would then use a Gust, which would finish off the heavily weakened Geodude, as Brock would then send out his infamous Onix, being his ace Pokemon for trainers of one gym badge. As then, Onix would then barrage the opposition with Rock Slide, which would finish off Hoppip, immediately showing that Onix was levels ahead of its ally Geodude. As Ash would then send out his ace Pokemon, being Totodile, as would be Ace versus Ace, as Totodile would then use multiple Bubble Beams which would barrage Onyx for a lot of damage. As this would damage Onyx, but Onyx would use a strong foundation to stay in one place. But eventually, the foundation should give way as Onyx would then be knocked back, as would then use Bulldoze, which would do damage and would slow down Totodile, as Totodile would then be barraged by numerous rock slides, because of Bulldoze slowing it down, Totodile wouldn't be able to move and outmaneuver the rock slides or even land move its own to counteract the rock slides. So the rocks would cover a heavily damaged Totodile, as Totodile wasn't showing any signs of consciousness, as the referee would then be about to announce that Totodile was absolutely defeated. Then a blue glow would emanate from within the rocks, as Totodile would then evolve into the bigger and stronger Crocodile after growing in size. This would shatter all of the rocks into tiny shards of stone, as Crocodile would stand up, reinvigorated, ready for the next round, as would then launch an Ice Fan, which would daze Onyx and knock it down, as Onyx would then respond with a rock slide, which would do some damage but not as much as it did to Totodile in its first stage evolution, as the now stronger and improved Crocodile would land a water gun, which would finish off Onyx. Ash would then return his ace, proud and happy that it evolved, as Brock would then give Ash a boulder badge and say that he did amazing for his first gym battle, and he can't wait to see where Ash goes, and that now he's interested in traveling with him, as Ash has amazing potential and heart, as he persevered when the odds were against him, when everyone thought that Totodile was finished. As this is the end of the video. Bye.